Hi, everybody. Old guy here, and this is another Neil Stevenson, and he is one of my favorite authors. He's on my go-to list, so naturally, when I ran across this one, I had to read it. But there's something a little off about it. It's not so much a story as a prescription. And you really don't get into an actual story until about halfway through the novel. The rest of it up to that point is setup. And it was only because of my regard for Stevenson that I kept going. Because, it's Stevenson, so there had to be something to this. And there is, just a bit belated. This is another one of those recent climate disaster novels, which seem to be all the rage these days, and which I suspect is more the taking advantage of a popular trope to sell books than warning of our evil ways destroying Gaia. Now, I believe in climate change. I do. I mean, we used to be covered in glaciers and got our meals from the local mastodon herd. But I believe it is being whipped into a hysteria that is somewhat overblown, because the very technology that got us into this situation is the very technology that will get us out of it. And that's what this book is about. Called geoengineering, some overly smart people have figured out how to deflect the sunlight that is turning the Earth into a dust bowl and cool the overbaked surfaces. I'm not going to tell you how they do it because that would be a major spoiler. Just know that it involves the biggest gun in the world and an extraordinarily complex system of delivery and retrieval, and an eccentric maverick billionaire who decides to save the Earth all on his own. Yeah, sounds vaguely familiar. In an example of art imitating life, this just actually really happened. The University of Washington has been launching salt crystals into the air from the deck of the USS Hornet Museum in Alameda. Called the Coastal Atmospheric Aerosol Research and Engagement Project. The idea is to thicken the clouds so they reflect more sunlight back into space. I don't know about you, but my experiences with thickened clouds hasn't always been positive. The university has kept this project under wraps up until they started doing it a few weeks ago because they feared adverse public reaction. Really? But you don't know about the geoengineering in this book for a while. Indeed, the book starts out with a rather bewildering, surreptitious visit by the Queen of the Netherlands to a Texas airport, where the Queen, who is flying the aircraft, manages to slam into a herd of wild pigs trying to escape from a giant crocodile pursuing them across the runway. What? Yeah, and just on that basis, you get a feeling that Stevenson is having us on. But no, he's serious. With the plane pig-kaputted, the Queen and her entourage have to make their way across desert and down rivers under the guidance of the wild pig hunter Rufus, who was after the herd to begin with. Just bear with it. Now, what does the Queen of the Netherlands have to do with pig herds in Texas? Well, that's something you're going to have to wait to find out. But the hint is in the nature of the Netherlands, which is below sea level and vitally interested in the ocean's rise, which has a tendency to swamp their country. I mean, if things continue, the Netherlands will be the western shore of Germany, and you can't be queen of that. So this particular bit of engineering, geoengineering, stands to benefit the Netherlands, hence her interest. But it tends to disadvantage other areas of the world. In those areas of the world, take umbrage and decide that they're going to do something about this. This is where the title of the book comes into play, because termination shock is what happens whenever a process that is beneficial to a system is halted, like, stopping your blood pressure medication. And the disadvantaged areas plan to do just that, stop this medicine. I'll tell you, Stevenson writes, some of the most bizarre battle scenes involving EMPs and murderous drones and falcons that while you can usually find in any other standard military sci-fi. I mean, this is good stuff and quite hair-raising. My favorite character in the book is the Pakistani Lax. He is a Sikh who trains in the Indian stick-fighting art of Gatka and goes to the zone of absolute control to battle Chinese kung fu experts in order to expand India's border until he gets his brain scrambled by a secret Chinese weapon. What? Yeah. Apparently, India and China are fighting a war in a medieval fashion to keep it from escalating, nukes going back and forth. And Lax joins that war and becomes a hero and then is sent on a secret mission with a drone army to protect India from the geoengineering projects. This isn't as silly as it sounds. Stevenson introduces all of this odd and bizarre stuff with a straight-up, matter-of-fact manner that makes it all acceptable, if somewhat unbelievable. That is, until the University of Washington showed up. Old guy here. See you later.